This was the drawing made by a 6-year-old boy in 2012. The picture was found in his room by his older sister Tracy, who sent this to me, who was 14 at the time, and she showed it to her parents. In the picture is the family around the dinner table, drawn in a typical 6-year-old skill level. The reason Tracy showed it to her family is because she could recognize all the family members at the dinner table, even the family dog and cat. Who she couldn't recognize was the man sitting on the floor kind of behind the table. Tracy said in her emails to me that when she was asking her little brother who that man was, he kept shrugging his shoulders and saying he's not allowed to tell. The man was drawn to be dressed in all black and has reddish brown curly hair, as you can see. Because of her little brother's refusal to explain who that 5th person in the picture was, she showed it to her parents, explaining that he likely had an imaginary friend or was pretending to be seeing ghosts. After the parents confronted the child at dinner asking who the man in the picture was, the boy made a pouty face and shrugged his shoulders. He did this anytime they asked, with the most detailed answer from his mouth being, "I'm not allowed to tell." The parents, specifically the dad, weren't fazed by it, as really a 6-year-old could draw anything and create some kind of crazy story in their head behind it. Tracy would be responsible for watching her brother often when their parents weren't home, and one day when she was left in charge of watching him, she heard her brother talking to someone in his room. Upon getting to his room, she learned he was just playing with his toy car set on the floor, talking to most likely himself as he played. Tracy asked if he was talking to anyone. He looked at her and shrugged his shoulders again, pouting his face. Tracy then noticed some candies on the floor of her brother's room, a specific kind of green apple flavored candy that she'd never seen her mother buy before. She asked him where he got this, and he ignored her, going back to playing. Tracy took the candies, and that angered her brother, yelling, "Give them back." She waited until her parents returned home to ask if either of them had bought the unusual candy. Since the boy was only 6 and it was summer break, aka receiving the candies at school wasn't even a possibility, the random candies appearing in the boy's room became a concern. Even as the boy was scolded and pressed by his parents as to where he got the candies from, he still just made his pouty, angry face and ignored them. The boy was grounded by his father until he would answer the question, so he wasn't allowed to leave his room. The family checked the closets in his room, under the bed, even the closets outside of the room. The idea that someone was inside of the house was out the window. On that same night that he was grounded, Tracy sat close to her bedroom door instead of on her bed, so that she would easily hear if and when her brother in the next room would start talking. And sure enough, when he did, which to note was way past her brother's bedtime, she jumped up and ran to his room, opened the door, and saw her little 6-year-old brother standing at his open window talking to a man who looked as though he were about to climb into the room. Tracy screamed for her mom and dad, causing the man at the window to flee, and her brother began to cry. Once Tracy told her parents that a man was talking to her brother through his window, the police were called. The boy still refused to talk at first, but with the police there, he eventually said that his friend told him not to tell anyone about him, or that he couldn't come and play anymore. When asked his friend's name and age, he said he didn't know. When asked what the two of them would do, the boy said he would come with snacks and candies for him and just play with toys. When asked how they met, he said they met in front of the house one day when the man stopped on his bike and gave him some candy. After offering to come back with more candies and snacks, Tracy's brother told him which bedroom window was his, and that's when this started.